Hey there guys, today's project is likely to be the simplest and smallest thing I make all year, but I do think it'll be pretty big on usefulness. I want to make a simple little hand washing station that slides out from the back seat of my truck where my truck storage box is located. And essentially I just want a way to be able to wash my hands after I go to Home Depot and I'm loading up concrete and I've got concrete dust on my hands, or when I go to the dump because I am a person that lives in the country and I have to haul my own trash, so it'd just be nice to wash my hands off before I get back in the truck. And that's pretty much it. So I'll show you where I'm thinking about putting it, what I'm working with, and then before we get started, I also want to say thank you to the Home Depot Perspective and Ryobi Power Tools for sponsoring this build. As always, you're going to see a lot of Ryobi tools in it, and let's get started. Okay, so here is where I want to put my little slide out hand washing station. Some of you may remember this underseat storage box that I built probably about a year ago. It just houses various things that I like to travel with, like bungee straps, a tire inflator, things like that. And what I would like to do is incorporate this little hand washing station with this slide out drawer and attach it in a fashion where it kind of rests on the lip of this and kind of rides just barely above that back piece of plywood. You'll notice that I don't have much room from where the floorboard area is, so I've got to keep it pretty low profile. So that is pretty much it. I almost forgot to mention it. If you were wondering where the water supply is going to go for this hand washing station, that is going to sit right behind the back of this seat in the little void space back there, and it'll just hang off of one of the child seat attachment points. I've got an old Camelback bladder that I may use, and a really thin gallon container. Just a matter of how I am going to connect the hose. But I've got two different options, so I'll take you in the shop and show you what I'm thinking of right now. So here is what I'm going to try to make into this hand washing station. I've got a couple of pieces of scrap aluminum from past projects. Some of you who watched my aluminum cornhole board build may remember this was one of the legs that I cut too short. And then this was a bracket from my DIY travel trailer folding dinette build that I either cut too short or just didn't end up working out. And then I have this RV faucet that I originally planned on using on the travel trailer, but the sizing wasn't quite right. So obviously I'm using it for a new project. But what I'll probably end up doing is cutting it about here so it's not the full curl. And what this is going to look like is this will be the main housing that will attach to the inside of that slide out drawer. And then on the side of it, this will get cut down and the faucet will be mounted to it, something like that. And then maybe back here I'll do a little soap dispenser. And this will all be connected to either that old Camelback I told you about, or this, I think it's like a 1.5 gallon or 2 gallon really thin water container right here that'll sit behind the seat. So with that said, let's get to drilling and figuring this out. Well, it's all filled up. Now I will test it to see if there's any leaks right there, and then I'll hang it in the truck and see how it works. So I've had this sitting here in the shop for a little bit just to see if that connection is going to leak, and so far so good. I've been wiggling the hose and kinking it just to try to mimic what it's going to see in the truck, and then I have the bladder elevated just a little bit to add a little bit of pressure. So I think I'm going to go ahead and install it in the truck. Eventually I probably will try to change this out for a hard container like that, but I think for now this is at least good for a proof of concept. Alright guys, well that is pretty much going to do it for this project. As always, I hope you guys found it interesting, or at the very least maybe entertaining, and perhaps it gave you some ideas on some sort of small project you may be thinking about. To those of you who might say this is overkill, yes, it is absolutely overkill. You could simply just get a water bottle and wash your hands that way. But you know, I like to tinker on little things like this, and it was just one of those fun, quick projects that I don't know, kind of rewarding and therapeutic to the mind. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned because I have another project that's going to be a quick, simple one coming out in a few days. A little first aid station kind of thing. And anyway, after that, we'll get back to the bigger projects. But as always, I appreciate you watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like. Hit the subscribe button for similar content like this. And we will see you guys next time.